Hi, it's Tony Marino, host of the super popular Newsmax Daily Podcast, a rundown of the day's top headlines and top highlights of Newsmax shows and interviews you may have missed, plus some sports, stock markets, and even some yucks, all packed into about 20 minutes. Search for the Newsmax Daily with me, Tony Marino, on your favorite podcast platform, and check out our entire lineup of great podcasts, including Greg Kelly, Rob Carson, and Jerry Callahan at newsmax.com/listen.
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is the Rob Carson Show. Hello, it's Tuesday, already the 3rd of February. Do you say February or do you say February? I can see why people say February, because it's a little bit easier, but I'm kind of a stickler, so I say February. It's kind of weird. I also say aunt instead of aunt. That's what happens when you move to the East Coast. You say aunt or you say aunt. Your aunt. It's kind of strange, but anyway. Hello, come on in. We got a whole bunch of stuff to get to. A lot of good news. A lot of good news happening. I know that it's sometimes hard to digest every day with leftists caterwauling and throwing temper tantrums in American cities. But I think the American people are kind of done with it. Kind of done with that nonsense. We've got the possibility. There was a government shutdown. The Democrat Party. The only thing the Democrat Party has right now is they want to impeach Donald Trump and they want to reopen the border and defund ICE and the DHS. That's your Democrat Party going into the 2024 2026. It's 2026, isn't it? 2026 midterms. They really don't have any leg to stand on. And every time that they get up on a platform and they act like this is going to be it. Donald Trump is trying to kick poor little illegals out of the country and arrest 5-year-olds with backpacks and all that. It doesn't work. It's not working at all. None of this because it's not organic. It's astroturf is what it is. Here's Harry Inton, the always dramatic from CNN, talking about how Americans feel like, for instance, about voter ID. That's another thing that is going on with the SAVE Act in Washington, D.C. The Congress, the Democrats are trying to prevent a couple of things. They want to defund DHS and ICE, which the American people want to stay funded. They want to continue to have people deported and all of that because we know that the southern border was open for 4 years. We screamed about it as people died, as people were trafficked across the border, as people died of fentanyl poisoning and all of this stuff. And the American people are like, yeah, everybody who came across the damn border those 4 years at least have to go. There you go. That's it. And then the other thing that the Democrats are fighting on is the SAVE Act. They don't want you to have to show voter ID when you go vote. Well, I actually do. You know why? Because every vote from an illegal or a dead person who votes Democrat is my vote being taken away from me or your vote being taken away from you. The SAVE Act requires proof of U.S. citizenship to register to vote. Oh, my God. Imagine that. That is just crazy. That's so racist. Mandate states to verify citizenship of voters. Again, so racist. My God, why do you hate black people? Requires removal of non-citizens from voter rolls. The Democrats have been fighting this for years. They say that, like, for instance, black people can't get IDs. It makes it too hard for black people to get IDs. Pretty much every black person has an ID. It's kind of weird. It's really racist, actually, that you would say they can't. Require states to use available federal and state databases to verify citizenship status. Imposes penalties, including criminal penalties, for election officials who register individuals without the required proof of citizenship. This isn't racist. It's common sense. And here's how Americans feel about it.
And the American people are with Nicki Minaj, because what are we talking about here?
Yeah.
So take a look here. Favor voter ID to vote. Look, I got all this polling on the screen going back since 2018. You'll notice on all of it, it's all north of 75%. 76%, 76%, 76%.
Man, we're a racist country, I guess.
81%. And then 83% in the last year of Americans agree with
83%. Just like it went up. It went up.
Nicki Minaj, they favor photo ID to be able to vote.
That is just amazing. And the reason why the Democrat Party doesn't want voter ID is because they want illegals to vote. Duh. I mean, honestly, there's no debating this. There's no debating this at all. It has been wholly exposed as the Democrat Party opened the southern border, as people are streaming out of Democrat-run states because they suck, and then they're replacing them with illegals and giving them all sorts of free crap. Because, you know, when you're from Burkina Faso and you come to the United States and somebody gives you SNAP benefits and a free apartment and free childcare, I mean, that's better than anything that the United Nations could drop from an airplane. I'm right, isn't it? And so when you go into these states to prop up their population numbers that are declining massively, then you get them all registered to vote. That's just the way it is. It's absolutely true. There's no debating it. I'm not going to have a debate with you on it because, honestly, it's so patently obvious at this point. And you know why I know this? Because I'm not stupid. There you go. I know. Representative Ana Paulina Luna. I met her the other day, by the way, and she's really nice. She's really tiny. Really tiny. She was there with her husband and her two kids, and the 3-year-old was being a little kind of pretentious. He didn't want to go through the metal detector at the Capitol, and can you imagine? Representative Ana Paulina, we call her APL, revealed the Senate leadership is moving toward nuking the so-called zombie filibuster. But let's leave Maxine Waters out of this and restoring an old-fashioned standing filibuster to advance the Save America Act legislation that requires proof of you. We need your citizenship. Requires proof of U.S. citizenship to vote. Imagine that. And the Democrats don't want that. Gee, I wonder why they don't want proof of citizenship to vote. Oh, my God in heaven. I'm just so done. With the Democrat Party. John Thune signaled after a meeting with Donald Trump that the Senate is preparing to bring the SAVE Act to the floor without the modern abuse-ridden 60-vote blockade under a standing filibuster. Senators who want to delay a bill must actually stand, speak, and debate. Once debate ends, only 50 votes are needed for passage. You know, whenever I hear this kind of minutia with regard to rules in the Senate, I pretty much just hear blah, blah, blah. So I hope you heard more than blah, blah, blah. I'm trying to make it kind of understandable. But this is Lori Reese. She works with the Heritage Foundation on their border, I guess, the think tank, and this is what it's all about. This is why, just in case you need a little proof here, beyond just my words and, I don't know, the obviousness of it all, why Democrats are fighting, the illegal immigration enforcement and whatnot.
This is clearly a pattern by the radical left to prevent more deportations because the left has built their political house of cards on mass immigration, and they don't want to see their voters, their ballot harvesters, their head count be deported. It's everything 100%. We're seeing, whether it's illegal immigration or rioting or you name it, fraud, it's due to lack of consequences. For decades, we have looked the other way from illegal immigration, from overstaying visas, from working without authorization, from committing identity and document fraud. That's how we got to anywhere from 11 to 20 million illegal aliens before Joe Biden entered the White House. And then he doubled that. Now that the Trump administration is trying to enforce immigration laws, the left doesn't like it.
No, they're doing the death spiral into hell. That's what I told you. They die like movie vampires.
Aliens don't like it, and so they're...
That's why they have all these protests that are bought and paid for in Minneapolis and Los Angeles.
Lashing out. It's kind of like parenting 101.
Yeah.
If you're not going to be a parent and discipline your children when you suddenly do so, kids lash out and have tantrums. We're seeing the adult version of that. We need much...
How many years have I've been telling you that? About the children throwing a temper tantrum. And how even 6 years ago in the summer of 2020, I said these children need to have a spanking. Yeah.
More immigration enforcement, many more deportations, not just worst of the worst. We need to normalize deportations. But also we need consequences to these rioters, to their organizers, and to their funders. We need major, very high numbers of arrests, prosecutions, convictions, and sentencing.
Yeah, and it's not going to succeed. The Democrat Party is not going to succeed because their policies are intellectually and morally bankrupt, and the American people don't support them. So there is that too. There is that too. This is Brandon Gill. Brandon Gill. He looks like Christopher Reeve back in the day, Superman 1. A lot of people have caught on to that, by the way. I told him I told him personally, I said, Brandon Gill, I said, you look like Christopher Reeve back in the day. He even has a little curly cue of hair there, just like Christopher Reeve did in Superman. Anyway, he says that, the Democrats, one of the things they want is, as part of passing the spending bill, they want to hold America hostage again. Oh, and incidentally, the GDP growth rate in the fourth quarter was 5.5%, which was gigantic. They are estimating that the Democrat shutdown of the government cost 1.5% GDP, which would mean that the GDP for the nation was above 7% in the fourth quarter. Have you noticed the Democrats aren't saying, oh, it's not affordable? They're not touting affordability anymore. They've moved on now to, people being shot by ICE when they try to assault or kill ICE officers. Have you noticed that? But here's Brandon Gill saying they're not going to do anything to gut ICE or the DHS.
What we want to do is make sure that the president and the executive branch has the funding that they need to continue doing the good work that they're doing all across the executive branch. What we've done is just stripped that out so that we can have more time so that we can get a bill passed to fund DHS appropriately. Yeah. But again, the key is that we're not going to let Democrats gut DHS.
Good. It's starting to, punching back. Thank you very much.
DHS funding. We're not going to let them gut ICE funding, which, by the way, we already funded in the big, beautiful bill. We're going to make sure that DHS and ICE have all of the resources.
Because that's what the American people want.
That they need to continue deporting illegal aliens.
There you go. That's crazy. And you know what? Kind of got tired of the abuse as, we were suffering through 9% inflation one year overall, 30, 40, 50% inflation during Joe Biden's presidency. Price of a house doubled. Price of rent went way through the ceiling. Price of a used car went up 50% plus. Price of new cars used to be you could get a $35,000 car. Now that $35,000 car costs $55,000. Now that $55,000 car costs $80,000. I know this because I sold cars. And we suffered through it while the Democrat Party piled on the free largesse to illegals. And I think we're kind of done with it. So, as I've said, stay the course, stay positive, overwhelm them with joy and patriotism and facts. I'll handle the mockery, ridicule, and satire. And then we will go into this 250th year of our birth of the nation in a very positive fashion. Let's take a break, shall we? This, my friends, is a Tuesday edition of The Rob Carson Show.
He's run Minnesota in the ground. Massive fraud Timmy never found. Billions lost. Oh, what a cost. Goodness gracious, Walz is in trouble. He's obstructing ICE every day. He wants illegals to get their way. Out of control. He has no soul. Goodness gracious, Walz is in trouble. Tim is thinking they might impeach him. Should be resigning. For Minnesota, he has done no good. It's sad, so sad. As governor, he's been bad, 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 bad. Many calls for Tim Walz to step down. Minnesota can't afford this clown. Throw him in jail, deny him bail. Goodness gracious, Walz is in trouble. His impeachment is an absolute must. Tim has lost the people's trust. He's gotta go, 'cause we all know, goodness gracious, Walz is in trouble. Well, they have a lot of cats, and they're all Democrats, we call them Karen. They have a whiny voice. They are all pro-choice and mostly barren. They're cat ladies. Whoa, 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 they're cat ladies. Talking about some miserable ladies who have clearly lost their minds. These Karens don't like ICE. They often pay a price, mistakes they're making. Karen is Racism is their curse. Could go to jail or worse for their law breaking. Their cat ladies don't have a child. Their cat ladies talking about some miserable ladies who are out of their minds. Elon needs a distraction from fraud. Says she was attacked, but that's not the way it happened. A lie. It seems to be a great big lie. Maybe just a ruse to get folks off her back. Victim card Ilhan Omar has played. It is not gonna work. Hey Omar, nice try. You have been exposed.
Carson Show podcast is everywhere. Go to newsmax.com/listen for details.
At the level of Democrat leaders and the activists and the funders who are behind what's happening now, what they want is open borders.
Yeah.
The Biden administration really was the peak victory of the open borders crowd. He just opened the borders and let, depending upon the estimate, 10 or 20 million or even more unvetted illegal aliens to enter the United States. He literally flew.
A lot of people died. A lot of people were trafficked, and the Democrat Party could not give a crap less. That's how awful the Democrat Party is.
Them around the United States, invited them in, gave them free cell phones, free housing.
Don't forget the free hotel rooms like at the Roosevelt Hotel in Manhattan. Cost like $600 a night minimum. They put up people in that hotel for a year at a time.
And the decision that was made in the Biden administration was this globalist decision that we shouldn't have.
This is Kevin Spivak of Real Clear Politics.
Borders. It was a very measured and correct decision that by moving these people into the United States, the census count would change.
What did I tell you? People are moving from red states, moving from Democrat states because they suck.
And at redistricting, the allocation of Democrat representatives would
because Democrats haven't had to win an election in decades. They just steal and rig them.
Change.
Or in the case of Virginia, like the new Virginia governor, Abigail Spamberger, lie about everything and then spring an agenda that nobody voted for on people when you get into office.
Electoral votes would change. Remember, these illegal aliens do not have to become
he said illegal aliens.
Citizens and do not have to vote.
We can say that now. It's cool.
Impact the elections. So that was a very measured and correct decision. They also did this to change our culture. Many progressives don't like American culture.
Really? The people who kneel for the national anthem and say America sucks and it's a slave country and all of that, really, they hate it? Yeah, of course they do.
And they wanted people from around the world to come here with different values. And finally, they made the assessment that it would be very, very difficult to undo what they did, that because of due process, because of other rules, these people...
Yeah, the Democrat Party is evil, and they need to disappear into the dustbin of history because, did I mention they're evil? Yeah, there is that. I think we need some good news. How about that?
We love to win. Winning, so much winning. It's lots of winning.
Lots of winning.
It's oh so good.
Remember when Joe Biden says there's no way that he could autonomously shut down the southern border, and all the Democrats in the media said, oh, yeah, there's no way, and then Donald Trump became the president, and he did it in a day? Yeah. Migrant encounters at the U.S.-Mexico border at their lowest level in more than 50 years. Border Patrol recorded 237,000 encounters with migrants at the U.S.-Mexico border in the 2025 fiscal year. Blah, blah, blah. That was down from 1.5 million encounters in fiscal 2024, more than 2 million fiscal 2023, and a record of more than 2.2 million in fiscal 2022, because they opened the southern border and didn't care how many Americans got displaced or murdered. So there's that. Yeah. But it's closed now, so there you go. Also, Caroline Leavitt has touted the nationwide decline in rents amid President Trump's crackdown on illegal immigration. Apartment rents just dropped to the lowest level in 4 years. That's good news. Maybe my apartment will come down. That would be kind of cool. I doubt it, though. The national median rent in January was $1,353, a drop of 1.4% compared to a year ago. The lowest January rent since 2022. Rents are now 6.2% lower than their last peak in the summer of 2022 because all the illegals are self-deporting or being deported, and the money that the government was paying for their rent at the expense of you and me, they're going. Yeah, they're going. Recent housing data shows sellers now outnumber buyers by more than 500,000 nationwide, easing rent growth in markets where supply is no longer scarce. Isn't that good news? Yeah, it's good news. If you want to buy a house, it's a buyer's market. Listen to this. Melania's weekend box office haul of $7 million not only represents the best opening weekend for a documentary in a decade, also humiliated Barack Obama's movies released theatrically. Back in 2018, the biography The Final Year was released theatrically to great humiliation for all involved, advertised as a chronicle of Barack Obama and Michelle Obama's foreign policy team and the events of Obama's final year in office. It failed miserably, landing in 39 theaters. The final year grossed $260 per theater. The final year only grossed $120 per theater during the opening weekend in only 8 theaters. Melania's movie, $1,053 per theater, by the way. Per theater, so it kind of kicked butt. Yeah, the biggest documentary in 10 years. I haven't seen it yet. I want to see it. It looks kind of good. We will see, but Obama's not too happy about it.
Those movies that they made about me and Michelle, compared to Melania's, they didn't do that well.
Jim Gossett.
They lost money. In fact, nobody seemed to know. Unlike Donald's wife, who's raking in the dough. And we're eating Melania's dust. We're eating Melania's dust.
You see this library?
Making us look bad. It's really sad. We're eating Melania's dust. We are not in her league. We're eating Melania's dust.
Because you're not interesting or likable.
Our Netflix deal was pure bribery. Viewers didn't seem to care about Michelle or me. Melania is different. What she's done has been earned. While the folks at Netflix must be really learned. And we're eating Melania's dust. Eating Melania's dust. Want us to shame, made us look lame. We're eating Melania's dust. Her documentary's #1. We're eating Melania's dust.
Yeah, you are. By the way, the other South Side with You, a feature film about Barry and Michelle's first date, released domestically in the summer 2016 into 6 foreign countries. Worldwide box office was $6.6 million, 92% fresh rating from Rotten Tomatoes, garnering a ton of free media publicity. Melania got none of that, by the way, none of that. And it's because Barack and Michelle are not interesting people. They're spoiled, entitled Marxists. That's it. And Melania, speaks 5 languages, is unbelievably hot, and the best first lady ever. Thank you very much. Let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show.
Hello, my name is Brian Delatry, and I started taking Relief Factor just about a year ago. I was having chronic knee pain. Over time, it just got worse and worse. Just walking downstairs was painful. Well, since I've taken Relief Factor, the results have been just amazing. I actually walk 4 miles a day, 5 to 6 days a week. No pain at all going downstairs. very active playing golf, and it's been really just unbelievable in the change I've had in the pain in my knee. Hope that someone who's experienced the same type of pain gives Relief Factor a try. And I guarantee if you get the results that I have, you'll be very happy. I'm going to continue using the product because I am now pain-free.
Don't wait. If you're dealing with daily pain, launch your 3-week quick start and see what Relief Factor can do for you. Go to relieffactor.com. How will it feel to be out of pain?
With talent on loan from God. And have my brain tied behind my back, to be fair.
You were the sunshine of our life, Rush. That's why we'll miss you oh so much.
I'm the mayor of Realville here.
You cut down liberals like a knife, Rush.
El Rushball.
Forever you'll be number one.
I am Rush Limbaugh, household name.
America needed a hero
in all 4 corners of the world.
And then you came to our rescue.
The Limbaugh Institute for Advanced Conservative Studies.
Competition, you had zero. How could so much talent be inside of you?
And don't doubt it.
You were the sunshine of our life, Rush. That's why we listened every day.
That's it. It's not much more complicated than that.
You helped us get through all the strife, Rush. No one will ever take your place, because Rush was the sunshine.
All audience expectations every day behind this Golden EIB microphone.
Arrests ICE has made so far. How many have a criminal record versus those who are just in the country illegally?
All of them, because they illegally broke our nation's laws and therefore they are criminals.
She's no KJP, more like Kaylee and Sarah. Her first press briefing was strong. She deals in facts, not liberal propaganda. We have been lied to for so long. And raise your hand, be polite, or she won't call on you. Meet Caroline, kicking butt and taking names. She's not inclined to let reporters play their games. Sweet Caroline.
Look, let me be very clear. Number one, Leader Jeffries sounds like a clown right now as far as I'm concerned. What he's saying is actually making no sense. The truth of the matter is that ICE has been trying to do their job. And if it wasn't for Democrat leaders who were fomenting an organized protest organization that was taking pictures of these officers, trying to dox these officers, trying to go after their families, all these things have occurred that they wouldn't have to cover their faces to protect their identity and to protect their families. That's one. Number two, and let's also be very clear.
What?
I didn't hear Hakeem Jeffries say a damn thing when there were young women in America who were being raped and murdered by criminal illegal aliens that Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and he led into the country with impunity.
Yeah, for 4 years we screamed about the travesty that was happening at the southern border. The Darien Gap, there were people coming across the Darien Gap. I remember the story. They said that the buzzards were fat from human flesh because so many people were dying. Because so many people on the way here. But the Democrat Party didn't give a rat's behind. All they care about was who came across the southern border and how they can convert them into Democrat voters. So there you go. This is trending on Twitter, 83%. 83% of Americans support requiring voter ID for federal elections, including 71% of Democrats and 95% of Republicans. Yeah, and the Democrat Party, the people in charge don't want it because they don't want IDs checked. They want illegals to vote. Duh. Awful, awful, awful party. My God, what an awful party. If you're still a Democrat in good standing, start a party of your own. Do something, but get the hell out of there because, honestly, you are on the wrong side of good. You are on the wrong side of right. It is ridiculous. New poll from Harvard-Harris. Overwhelming supermajority of Americans oppose the lawless, chaotic, and dangerous sanctuary policies that have protected criminal, illegal aliens and fueled the mob violence in criminality in places like Minneapolis. Really? Really? 67% say end sanctuary cities. 33% say yes. Yeah. 67% also want state and local officials to cooperate with ICE on deporting criminal illegal aliens. 67% say local jails should hand over criminal illegal aliens to ICE for deportation. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that just amazing? It is remarkable. This is kind of funny. This was The View. They had Arnold Schwarzenegger on the show the other day, and they wanted to bait him into say, because he's an immigrant, and he got all famous and everything, into saying that, deporting illegals is a really bad thing, and it didn't go so well for him.
So if you are an immigrant, you're an immigrant in this country. Yeah. Did you have a visceral reaction to what they're doing, what ICE is doing, when you see the videos of it?
Well, I tell you, you said that the immigrant... I'm so proud and happy that I was embraced by the American people like that.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine I came over here with the age of 21 with absolutely nothing.
He's not a very good actor, and he became one of the most famous actors in the world, for God's sake.
And then to create a career like that.
Yeah, became the governor of California.
I mean, in no other country in the world could you do that. Every single thing, if it's my bodybuilding career, if it's my acting career, becoming governor, the beautiful family that I've created, all of this is because of America.
That's true.
And so this is why I'm so happy to see firsthand that this is the greatest country in the world.
I know.
And this is the land of opportunity.
Oh, wow, wait, hold on. The View's crowd is actually applauding at that. I thought America was racist and terrible and slavish and all that.
And I think because I'm such a proud American and a proud immigrant, that came to America, I was asked to do on July 4th a big speech, the keynote speech at Mount Vernon.
I might have to head down for that. It's not very far from my house.
Was laid to rest, and where he lived and all that, to celebrate the 250th anniversary of America.
That's pretty amazing.
And to make my bed and to do everything that is the right thing to do, rather than committing a crime or being abusive or something like that. So that doesn't really work in this country. So I think the important thing is when you become an immigrant, to think about, okay, I go to America because I want to use America for the great opportunities that America has.
You mean that move here, like Somalians and 89% of you be on some sort of public dole?
In education, in jobs, creating a family, all of those kind of things.
Wow.
Then you have to think about, okay, If I get all of those things from America, then I have to give something back. But you have a responsibility.
Instead of just opening a daycare center without any children and defrauding the taxpayers out of billions of dollars. So there is that. I don't think the Viewcast expected that, but they got it. The left has been trying to tell us that when illegals come here illegally, they commit fewer crimes than us because they hate Americans. They hate you and me. That's why they try to take our votes away and give them to illegals. But that's, of course, completely untrue. The Office of the Tennessee District Attorney's General Office Conference has released its annual state immigration report, revealing that in 2025, illegal immigrants committed 2,183 violent offenses, including 41 homicides, 145 sexual assaults, and 11 child rapes. They're just here to, take advantage of it. The arrestee citizenship status not lawfully present or unknown, those are illegals, show that a total of 21,648 charges were filed against illegal migrants among 11,344 cases between January 1st and December 31st of 2025, averaging nearly 1,000 reports per month. That's not exactly assimilating, is it? It's not assimilating. Donald Trump was on Dan Bongino's show. Dan Bongino's back on Rumble and kicking butt, by the way. And here is Donald Trump with some startling statistics about the number of people who are committing crimes. I don't know if you knew this, but Donald Trump has brought the murder rate in our country down to the lowest rate in 126 years.
2% of the people create 90% of the crime. Think of that. So when you start moving these guys out, you have a huge impact on crime. You've got sick people. These are 2%. Think of that stat. So you don't have to arrest the entire population.
No. Right.
2% of the people create, and it makes sense, right? You know, they create crimes every day over and over. Then you put them in jail. They come out.
Yep.
They do 5 crimes in one day. These are sick people. And they're bad people. And they'll never be good, by the way, for the liberals that want to make them bring them into a wonderful person of society. They go, we can bring them back into society. No, because eventually they'll kill you. Eventually they will kill you. But 2% of the people create 90% of the crime.
Yeah, that's why they've been able to reduce crime so dramatically in Washington, D.C. You really should come and visit. It's pretty remarkable. Union Station is so spotless you could eat off the floor. Downstairs in Union Station, you used all these restaurants and everything. But when Joe Biden was the president, they all emptied out. And they're in the process of refilling those restaurants and everything so you can go down and hang out. And upstairs, there's all sorts of shopping and everything. And Donald Trump brought in the National Guard. And, of course, the Democrats screeched and yelled and hollered and said, they're going to kill people, they're going to murder people and all this. They got rid of all the homeless encampments here, all of the garbage here in places like Los Angeles, Oakland, California, Portland, Oregon, Seattle, now New York City. New York City is becoming a crap hole again. Democrat enclaves, it's crap. But what Donald Trump is doing is absolutely right. Absolutely right. And the Democrat Party is doing everything they can to keep illegals here. Load them up with free stuff and get their votes. This is what's happened in Minnesota. Somalis, they wanted a group of people who would come in, who would be most susceptible to fraud, accept it, and then commit it to vote Democrat. That's just the way it is. They tried it with the Hmong population. This is according to David Koch. He's the guy who helped out with exposing all of this in Minnesota. They tried it with the Hmong community 35 years ago. I know this because I live there, and there's a big Hmong community. But the Hmong community is like, no, we want to make a living legitimately. We want to live the American dream. So they said, well, what are you going to do? Well, there's a civil war in Somalia. Let's bring all these Somalians in. And Somalia just happens to be the meth lab trailer park of the world. And so he brought in all these Somalians, and then they discovered, oh my God, if we just load these people up, they'll pretend like their kids have autism. They'll pretend like their relatives need to be driven to the doctor. They'll lie about daycare and everything. And they did. 89% of them on some sort of government largesse. It is remained. Here is Donald Trump talking about these. No, actually, I got to take a break. Let's take a break and come back. We will continue on this thought. This is the Rob Carson Show.
It's a rigged state, really rigged badly with the Somalians and the theft. And I guess you studied it, but I hear it's over $19 billion, okay?
Did you ever notice that Donald Trump is starting to sound more like the caricature of Donald Trump? You know, you got so many people who could impersonate Donald Trump. Now he... we're so used to seeing this over-the-top Donald Trump thing. Now Donald Trump is starting to sound like that.
Can you imagine? They have a country where they have no money, they have no nothing, and they come over here and they steal. They're able to steal more than $19 billion, and we're right on their ass.
Yeah, that was one of the first cases.
But this is Donald Trump with Dan Bongino yesterday.
I got to know.
These are people that don't work. Yeah. Dan, these are people that don't work. These are people that are just not an asset to our society, to put it mildly.
That is really racist.
And we got to get them out, most of them. And it's most of them.
Uh-oh.
I want to tell the audience.
92% don't work.
Wow.
And they have an unbelievable system, corrupt system of welfare. You know, many of them...
And it's really hard to be a pirate on one of the lakes in Minnesota.
5 Mercedes-Benzes had nothing when they came over. The good news is, you notice...
I'm going to be a pirate on Lake Minnetonka.
They don't see ships being stolen anymore from Somalia. Because we hit those guys with the same weapon that we take out the drug dealers.
You take out piracy, you're taking out the major industry of Somalia.
From the ocean. We stop. Every time we hit a boat, we knocked out. We saved 25,000 lives. Each boat, and pretty accurate, each boat is responsible for the death of 25,000 Americans.
Yeah, and the fraud was so massive in Minnesota, it's almost laughable. Here's Brandon Gill talking about how, well, obviously Tim Walz knew about it.
In the first hearing a couple weeks ago, what we learned is that Governor Walz likely knew about this fraud from the day he stepped into office, and yet he deliberately did nothing. Why? Because the Somali community in Minnesota is a major Democrat voting bloc. In other words, there was sort of an implicit deal that Democrats had with that community that we're going to turn the other way as we have an idea that you're defrauding taxpayers, and then in exchange you're going to vote for us. So what I'd like to ask Governor Walz is, what exactly did you know?
He's got to testify. I think it's March 4th. He's going to be in town. He's going to get his colonoscopy. I hope so. Glenn Beck talking about all of the fraud, particularly just the laundering millions of dollars in suitcases from the Minneapolis airport. Also was happening in Columbus, Ohio. Okay, how in the hell does that happen? I had a friend who won like 30 grand in Vegas years ago, and they gave him a rectal probe trying to bring the money on an airplane. That was like 25 years ago.
This guy's going to jail. Others are going to jail because, and there'll be white people, Tim. So you should be happy because you were saying there's a lot of white people that should go to jail. Well, you're one of them, and you will go to jail. Let me show you, just give you a stat here on the last 2 years.
Talking about Tim Walz
at the Minnesota airports.
Yes.
And I just want you to think and ask yourself, how is it possible this happened? And
they were told not to say anything.
Nobody stopped it.
They went after whistleblowers.
Over the last 2 years, between 24 and 25, Somali couriers put $700 million. $700 million.
That's tax dollars. That's your money.
In suit.
They didn't earn it. They stole it.
Cases. And they went through the airport.
Yeah.
That's what they found.
I know.
To put that into perspective, that's about $1 million a day in cash.
I want to see people go to jail. I really do. And when it happens, I'm gonna party like it's 1999. Tim Burchett says, it's not only Somalia, it's Democrat states across the country.
Today at Tim Burchett, I said, when you pay your taxes this year, remember that $14 billion that illegal Somalis stole from you. And remember the gutless politicians in Washington, D.C.
Who the hell would take their kid to a Somali daycare? Oh, yeah, nobody.
Who continue to prop them up and allow them to do that. This is widespread. Everybody wants to talk about Minnesota. Right. You got California, you've got Texas.
Yeah, California's even worse.
All over the country. It's all over the country.
The hospice care out there. One doctor billed $120 million himself for imaginary patients.
And we need to address it, and we need to quit electing these people.
Oh, wait till I tell you about this Operation Gold Rush. Oh, my goodness.
That keep opening up your great-grandchildren's pocketbook, because that's where the money's coming from. Yeah. We don't have it anymore. We're borrowing it from the future.
Yeah. Waste, fraud, and abuse. Let's call it what it is.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. And by the way, it is the tune of trillions of dollars. The Democrat Party used COVID to increase the size of the federal government by 40%, and they looted every damned bit of it. They took every damn bit of it. That's why Glenn Beck was just talking about the last 2 years, all of that money going through the Minneapolis-St. Paul airport. Where do you think that money came from? We don't have to have this massive debt. This debt is stolen money. This debt is stolen money. Unbelievable. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. International disputes, inflation, right? Hi, kids. How are you? You having fun today? You guys are very busy talking, I see. Hello, Kathy and Angela. Oh, Angela, you're just being an idiot. Go ahead and feed on her like a calf's leg in paradas, Angela, for saying something so stupid as that. Hello, Kathy. What's going on? Hello, Dale Arsenault. Do appreciate you. If you're going to get into the chat on the live chat on any of the social media, have something to say that's factual and intelligent. Otherwise, my awesome regulars will eat you alive. They will eat you alive because you deserve it. Anyway, Bruce Radford, hello. America Marcy. We got a new person over here. It looks like Hey Trey Fall. What? I have no idea. HTRAETALF. Yay, Trump. Okay, thank you. Way Easy. What's up? Good to see you there as well. Hope you're enjoying the show. A lot of people are discovering the show. We're starting to really market the show and getting the word out there. Valentina. Hello, Grandma. Times 59. Hello, Rob. Tom K. Yo, Rob. Good to see you guys. Thanks for saying hi. Beck Ottenberry. As always, good to see you there. All of my rumbly roos. And all you guys watching on X, too. The X audience is gigantic. And I'm not talking about my ex. She doesn't watch my show. The reason why she divorced me was because of my show. Oh, my God. So funny. But not really. All right. Let me refresh the X feed. All right. What are we going to do next here? Oh, yes. I'll be here. Here we go. I got to talk. Here we go. Time to talk.
And WCBM.com.
I'm at 3:45.
Doogie.
I'm glad you're a gun guy, because I wanted to bring up this whole thing with this guy, Preddy.
Yeah.
And I haven't talked about it. We haven't done a podcast since that guy got killed. But that whole thing, why riots only in Minneapolis? And why riots in the place where there's an ungodly amount of fraud that has been discovered?
Coincidentally, around the same time.
Exactly. Like instantaneously afterwards, the narrative completely changes. Everybody forgets about the fraud. Now all anybody cares about is ICE and fascists and Nazis.
Yes.
You know what a color revolution is, of
yes,
course.
I do.
And for people that don't, it's a coordinated effort to cause chaos. And this is a very coordinated thing. The idea that this is an organic protest, these riots are organic, is nonsense.
Yeah, the same went with the George Floyd protest during the summer of 2020. Meant to distract, meant to tear down the country, meant to destroy the economy, meant to see Donald Trump defeated. That's what it was all about. This is what we're trying to do now in the 2026 midterms. So there you go. Coming up, the details on this Operation Gold Rush. Medicare fraud, healthcare fraud, it is so gigantic. It is such a joke. They want to reform. They said Obamacare is going to reform the healthcare. All it did was it was a giant fraud operation. I mean, your head's going to explode. You might want to put on a bike helmet. Gold and silver rebound, pulling global mining stocks and precious metals higher. There you go. I told you this. You know, gold went up one day last week, $500 an ounce. One day. What did people do? They sold. They said, "Oh, I'm gonna sell. I'm gonna take some profits." And then the price of gold deflated, $4,900. It's down to it's back up to $4,900. It got down to like 46. Now it's back up to 49. So it's rebounding. Silver also went from 116 to $80 an ounce. It's back up to $86 an ounce. You knew it was going to bounce back. It's a dynamic investment. It's a great investment. It's affordable now because it's dropped pretty substantially from last week. Maybe this is your opportunity to text my name Rob to 989898 for Birch Gold. The moves mark a slight recovery from a decline that came after a fall of nearly 10% of gold last Friday. 30% collapse in silver prices that marked the metal's worst one-day performance since 1980. But that's okay because it was $116 and last year it was $30. It's still almost 90. You've got an opening here. Text my name, Rob, to 989898. Birch Gold is going to give you information, no obligation or whatever. I just converted a small IRA that I had into gold. They just sent the check yesterday, so I got in at yesterday's price. That's gigantic. I can't believe I actually made a good investment move in my life. For God's sake, I've left a barren wasteland of investment nonsense my entire life. I did the right thing with Birch Gold, a company you can trust. Text my name, Rob, to 989898 for Birch Gold, if you would, and get the ball rolling on investing in gold. Next hour, Thane Rosenbaum is going to be joining us. Also, unbelievable, the largest healthcare fraud in U.S. history, Operation Gold Rush. Don Lemon also last night on Jimmy Kimmel. It was almost like X-rated. It was so sloppy and gross. We'll share all of that coming up in hour number 2 of The Rob Carson Show. Don't go anywhere.
hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is hour number 2 of the Rob Carson Show. Welcome to it. The number is 800-922-6680. We do have a phone number if you want to participate. We also have, of course, we're streaming on all Newsmax social media. And we have, it's kind of interesting. We have different ecosystems for each one of them. We got my Rumbly Roos. We got my Facebookies over here. You got your Xers, and then you got your YouTubers. And they're all very interesting people. They're always a lot of fun, and I see a lot of regular names. And I'm seeing a lot of new names being added because the show, oddly enough, is growing by leaps and bounds because I'm a fresh voice in talk radio. I know. I just got syndicated like 6 years ago, right? And we kind of idled along here, and it's just all of a sudden been catching fire. Catching fire, light speed, by the way. And we got a new guy in charge. His name's Ralph, and he's a pretty phenomenal dude. I used to compete with him in Washington, D.C. He worked at a big old station called WTOP, and I worked at Mix 107.3 and WMAL, and now we're together on the same team. Holy hell. So it's amazing. It's amazing. I think the lighting is looking good. I got to figure it out, by the way. If you are streaming, I think it looks pretty good, right? I mean, it looks pretty good. I've been using Particle for Men. I've been using it because, I've never used anything but soap and water on my face, but there's a point in your life where you're kind of like, yeah, maybe I could take a little bit better care of yourself, Been buying some new clothes. If you've been following on social media, my new expression is layers are for players. And I got vests are back in with suit jackets and all of that. So I've been playing a little bit, spending a little money on myself for a change after many years of marriage and children. So, it's interesting. I mean, I'm not a player, obviously. I mean, dear God, it's laughable, but it is kind of nice to play a little bit here, The Clintons have capitulated on the House Epstein inquiry, agreeing to testify. Bill and Hillary agreed Monday to testify. Well, can you believe this? The warning shot over the bow apparently was successful. Bill and Hillary agreed on Monday to testify in the House Oversight Committee's investigation into a convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, capitulating to the demands of the Republican chairman. Days before the House was expected to vote to hold them in criminal contempt, they blinked. And one of the reasons they blinked is some Democrats on the panel joined Republicans because the Clintons aren't able to kill people. I mean, don't have the same, sway they used to. So maybe they're not quite as afraid of the Clintons anymore. Isn't that kind of interesting? That's pretty darn interesting. Donald Trump talked about it yesterday because, they released these millions of documents and all of this, and it's showing that a lot of Democrats were involved, a lot of Hollywood types involved. Bill Gates, very involved. Apparently something to do with contracting an STD. I know. I'm just reading it. That's all I'm saying. But here is Donald Trump yesterday talking about how Epstein was no friend of his.
We have other things to do because that whole thing has turned out. I mean, other than Bill Clinton and, Bill Gates and lots of people there are a lot of questions about it, but nothing on me. But it was even sort of better than that because they found that Jeffrey Epstein and this sleazebag writer named Michael Wolff were conspiring against Donald Trump to lose.
Yeah, a whole lot of people were.
The election. So Epstein was conspiring with a writer for me to lose the election.
Wow.
So right there, that I had nothing to do with this guy.
Yeah.
But, it's a terrible thing. The amount of time that's being wasted. When Epstein was alive, like 10 years ago, nobody cared about it.
No.
But they're only doing it. But now it's really hitting back on them because Bill Clinton is such a big part of it.
Yes.
The Democrats are pushing it.
He kind of had a penchant for younger women, by the way.
And the problem is that it's turning out to be the Democrats that were with and conspired with Epstein.
Yeah.
So I think you're probably going to see a little pullback from them. But think of it.
Pullback?
They were working together to try and help me lose the election.
It's kind of interesting. Bill Gates, they said that he contracted an STD from a Russian call girl. I'm just reading from the report. Okay, this is what they're saying. But oddly enough, this is a story about Bill Gates in 2013. This is real.
Bill Gates is turning his focus from software to hardware.
The Microsoft founder is giving a $100,000 grant.
That's not a good name to company to be involved in as a man. Microsoft.
Grant to whomever can build a better condom. It's part of his Grand Challenges initiative. The goal is to make a condom that feels good enough for men around the world to want to wear it and to therefore, very importantly, to prevent disease and unwanted pregnancy.
I love the interweb. I love the interweb because things live forever on it, and I don't have too many things on there that I regret. I try to be careful about it. But there you go. So the Clintons have decided to blink because they don't want to be held in contempt and put in the stony lonesome. Here's Jim Gossett.
What now for us? Hillary's worried. We had to agree to testify.
I want to see this.
Comer had
boom, boom, boom,
us over a barrel. Must say that he's a tenacious guy.
Come on now, sing it.
If I tell the truth about Epstein, the truth about each and every team, I'll go to jail. Hillary too. I don't know what I'm gonna do. What now for us? Now we have no choice.
Gotta testify.
To go to D.C. and testify.
Yeah, they blinked. All it took was Jim Comey whipping out his subpoena. That's all it took. Yes, I have the sense of humor of a 14-year-old boy, and so do most men my age. Largest healthcare fraud in U.S. history. Operation Gold Rush exposes $14.6 billion. This is Matthew Giuliani announcing this. Dr. Oz was on stage there. You might want to sit down because this is gigantic. This is as ugly as you could ever imagine, and it involves foreign influence.
We are announcing today charges against 324 defendants for their alleged participation in healthcare fraud schemes involving approximately $14.6 billion in false claims submitted to Medicare, Medicaid, and other healthcare programs. In a takedown this large, I can't possibly describe all of the work that went into dismantling each scheme.
Wow, this is remarkable because they said they were going to fix healthcare and everything's going to be great and your premiums are going to go down and all of that. And it was a lie. It just enriched insurance companies, and about 30% of the people on Obamacare don't exist. And if they do, they didn't know they were enrolled, and the insurance companies just got the money without providing any services. And then, of course, Democrats took advantage of it around the country, opened up fraudulent daycare centers, opened up fraudulent hospices in California, giant hospice scandal in California involving Russian gangs, among other things. And all of us just pretty much got screwed through the entire thing. Here's more from Matthew Giuliani.
Every fraudulent claim, every fake billing, every kickback scheme represents money taken directly from the pockets of American taxpayers who fund these essential programs through their hard work and sacrifice. This enforcement action involves the seizure of cash as well as luxury vehicles and properties, returning...
A lot of Somalians in Minnesota had big old luxury houses and Bentleys and stuff like that. I've never had a Bentley.
Real money to American taxpayers and to our government health care programs. We are seeing a disturbing trend of transnational criminal organizations engaging in increasingly sophisticated and complex criminal schemes that defraud the American healthcare.
Our government is more corrupt than the Soviet Union was.
System. As part of this takedown, we've identified and charged defendants operating from Russia.
How do you suppose that old Ilhan Omar was worth, like $20,000 and then all of a sudden is worth $25 million? I hope she goes to jail and then is deported penniless back to Somalia.
Eastern Europe, Pakistan, and other foreign countries.
Wow.
We dismantled a scheme involving a sophisticated operation run from Russia and Eastern Europe that strategically bought dozens of medical supply companies in the United States and submitted more than $10 billion in fraudulent healthcare claims to Medicare. These perpetrators used the stolen identities of more than 1 million Americans. But I'm pleased to report that federal agents intercepted and arrested key members of that organization at U.S. airports and the U.S.-Mexico border.
Yeah, and they also caused people to die. They killed people. Medical professionals were involved in people dying.
This takedown resulted in criminal charges against 74 defendants, including medical professionals who fueled America's deadly opioid crisis for personal profit. These are calculated schemes designed to exploit Americans struggling with addiction while enriching the very people who were duty-bound to help them.
I'll bet you know somebody who died of an opioid or fentanyl overdose, or at least know a family that lost someone, right?
Heal. We charged pill mill operators who prescribed unnecessary opioids. We dismantled networks of corrupt pharmacies that existed solely to distribute drugs to addicts and dealers, feeding the addiction crisis that has devastated so many American communities.
Now, I saved the worst for last. Do you want to hear how evil these people were stealing our money? Listen to this.
Many of the defendants charged as part of this takedown specifically targeted our most vulnerable citizens, elderly Americans in nursing homes, individuals with disabilities. For example, our prosecutors charged 7 defendants, including 5 medical professionals, in connection with approximately $1 billion in fraudulent claims to Medicare and other healthcare benefit programs.
What'd they do?
For performing medically unnecessary skin grafts on dying patients as they were seeking to spend their final days with dignity and peace. That conduct is exactly as callous and disturbing as it sounds.
And this is just, as they say, the tip of the iceberg. Wow. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
p.m.
I have a rejoin.
Yes, you do.
The media and our friends in the Democrat Party kept saying we needed new legislation. We must have legislation to secure the border. But it turned out that all we really needed was a new president.
I love that one. That is awesome. Really, really awesome. So Zoran Mondani, or Zoran Monkami, as I like to call him, or Moron Zomkami. I know, I'm creative that way. Honeymoon over, New York City Mayor Mamdani blasted his dirty snow-covered dump. Michael Rappaport took to Instagram a week after the snowstorm, and this is what we got from Zoran, the shoveler. I thought she was so good at shoveling. It was the first time he ever shoveled anything other than bullcrap. People slipping, breaking ankles, nobody shoveling, nobody salting, nobody doing S. This is New York City, 3 minutes from the mayor's house. Where I am now, by the way, it is... Northern Virginia and then the D.C. area are. It snowed like 8 inches to a foot, and then it rained, and so you look at it like a golf courses are almost so bright in the sunshine because of the ice reflecting off them, and there's a crust everywhere you walk, and you can fall on your butt. And then they cleared the streets into the cars that were parked there, and the cars that had been parked on the side of the street are now blocked in by these giant frozen barricades of snow. It's a mess. But of course, all that Zoran Mondani needs to do is just make it free, and then it'll get better. Right? Won't it get better if he makes it free like the bus rides? Deborah Messing, who's an actress, said that sitting in a taxi trying to get to an apartment should take 20 minutes. We're at an hour and 10 minutes, and counting the streets are a disaster. Hasn't snowed in 5 days, and the streets still haven't been cleared. Poor ambulance sitting in essentially a parking lot with sirens going. I've lived here 15 years. Never has this happened. The plows have always worked. Isn't that amazing? Batya Ungar-Sargon, regular guest on this radio program, says another thing that Zoran did was he decided to make it okay to have homeless encampments again, and that's resulted in a whole bunch of people dying.
Okay, Batya, there are mountains of garbage, some of them 8 feet high, and this is all more than a week after the snow fell.
I don't care about any of that, Liz. Yeah. I care about the fact that 16 people are dead.
What?
16 human beings are dead because this nincompoop decided to allow them to keep living on the streets when the temperatures dropped to sub-zero. So much of what passes for progressive compassion, the stuff that makes them feel morally superior to the rest of us, actually incentivizes and creates unbelievable amounts of cruelty and suffering, whether it's abolish ICE, the open border where women are getting raped crossing the Darien Gap, children are being trafficked into this country, whether it's defund the police, siding with criminals, all of this stuff that makes them feel holier than thou. It creates unbelievable amounts of cruelty, and I'm just so...
Yeah, everything they touch turns to absolute crap. And if you don't believe me, look at the last 4 years under Joe Biden. It was a Charlie Foxtrot. I'll just say that was a Charlie Foxtrot. Just an absolute mess. Jimmy Kimmel covered for Don Lemon last night. It was almost pornographic, the amount of love that was going on between the two of them.
And on January 18th, is that correct? You were covering a protest at a church in St. Paul, Minnesota, an anti-ICE protest. Apparently there was a pastor at the church who's also a local ICE official, which is, I think, just as Jesus would want.
Oh, that's really funny. There's a well-fluffed audience.
We have some B-roll. Protesters interrupted the Sunday service, and you followed them in. You interviewed various people in the church, and afterward, you were arrested. Now, first I want to ask you, is there a difference between whether those protesters had the right to go into a church and whether a credentialed journalist like yourself had the right?
Well, you didn't actually cover. You got in the way of people. Among other things, you got in the way of people, and you guys terrorized them. That's what happened at the church protest. That you actually bought the raiders coffee and donuts, and they said what they were going to do, and you went in and you actually took part in it. That's the deal. It's like if you knew that some people were going to go into a bank to rob it, what would you do? Would you buy them donuts and coffee and go in with them and participate in it? No, you'd go in there and say, "Hey guys, guess what? I'm thinking there's going to be some." Somebody coming in here to terrorize you, and you might want to be ready for it. But he partook in it. Here's Pam Bondi talking about what happened.
These people will say these parishioners thought they were going to get shot. One of the people with Don Lemon screamed, quote, "This ain't a house of worship. This is the house of the devil." Wow. There were children crying. There were parents blocked from getting upstairs to take their children out of Sunday school. A group of women ran out a side door. Multiple people fell on the ice.
Yeah.
One woman severely
broke her arm.
Damaged her arm, had to go to the hospital. Don Lemon blocked someone from going out that door. They were screaming at parishioners. It was horrible. No American. We don't live in a third world country. We live in the United States.
No, you got to be able to worship.
Of America, and
it's kind of a big deal why we became the greatest engine of individual and economic freedom in the history of the world.
You will have the right to worship.
We came here to worship freely. That's why we left England.
Safely and freely in a house of worship, whether it's a church, a synagogue, a temple, a mosque. Any house of worship in this country, you will be safe. And these people committed a crime under the FACE Act, and they will be held accountable.
Now, I've got more from the appearance last night on Jimmy Kimmel, and I don't know why you do this. You're really tempting fate by saying, like, for instance, "Come and arrest me, Pam Bondi." Then he got arrested. And, of course, he made it up like he didn't expect it to happen and all of this nonsense. I'll share details as the show progresses here. Thane Rosenbaum is going to join us next to talk about a number of things, including a touch on a little bit about Iran, what's happening with Iran, hopefully freedom for the Persian people, among other things. Let's take a break in the meantime, shall we? This is the Rob Carson Show.
Hello, my name is Brian Delatry, and I started taking Relief Factor just about a year ago. I was having chronic knee pain. Over time, it just got worse and worse. Just walking downstairs was painful. Well, since I've taken Relief Factor, the results have been just amazing. I actually walk 4 miles a day, 5 to 6 days a week. No pain at all going downstairs. Very active playing golf, and it's been really just unbelievable in the change I've had in the pain in my knee. Hope that someone who's experienced the same type of pain gives Relief Factor a try. And I guarantee if you get the results that I have, you'll be very happy. I'm going to continue using the product because I am now pain-free.
Don't wait. If you're dealing with daily pain, launch your 3-week quick start and see what Relief Factor can do for you. Go to ReliefFactor.com. How will it feel to be out of pain?
The side of an all-powerful federal government that can kill, injure, menace, and kidnap its citizens off the streets? Or on the side of a nurse at the VA hospital who died bearing witness to such government? Or the side of a mother whose last words were, "I'm not mad at you"? We have got children in Minnesota hiding in their houses, afraid to go outside. Many of us grew up reading that story of Anne Frank. Somebody's going to write that children's story about Minnesota.
Wow.
And there's one person who can end this now.
The Holocaust Museum told walls to pipe down and stop exploiting the genocide. Illegal aliens aren't Jews.
No, they aren't. When Tim Volz, he's German, of course. He's a white German. Socialist. He's a white German socialist. Where else have we heard of white German socialists taking over? Oh, yeah. I think it was Germany. Unbelievable. Thane Rosenbaum, distinguished university professor, Touro University, Jewish journal, essayist, he does everything. Legal analyst, law professor, joins us on the Newsmax Hotline. How are you, my friend?
Always great hearing your voice, Rob. It's a really terrific show.
What did you think of Tim Volz using Anne Frank's diary? I mean, that was as low. That was as low as it gets. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually wrote about it this week in my weekly essay. People can find it on ThaneRosenbaum.com. Look, Rob, here's something you don't know. I'm a child of Holocaust survivors, so I take that very personally.
Yes, sir.
I've also written 5 novels that have post-Holocaust themes. The one thing people who are sensitive human beings, what they don't do is they don't trivialize someone else's tragedy.
Yes.
They don't take an atrocity and compare it to something that is incomparable. Right? So unless I'm mistaken, and maybe you can correct me, there are no children in Minneapolis hiding in an attic, and when they're found, they're going to end up dead or gassed in Bergen-Belsen or Auschwitz. Because that's what actually happened to Anne Frank. Yeah. So to actually compare parents and, the idea, these are children who are not American citizens. They are not in danger of losing their lives. Even if they're taken away, like that one child was, that was because his own father left him in a running car with the doors locked.
Yes.
Of course the child should be taken. What, are they going to put the child in the streets? But that's very different from what happened to Anne Frank and her family.
Oh, yes.
And this trivializes the Holocaust. It makes it a joke, as if to say anything that we don't like, and we've done this with Donald Trump.
Yes.
We don't like him because he's Hitler.
Yes.
We don't like ICE, they're the Gestapo.
Yes.
And this is just something that's wrong. We would never do this with American slavery. We wouldn't trivialize slavery. We say, it's like I'm living on a plantation. That would be disgusting.
They have, though.
By the way.
They have, though. Jasmine Crockett said that the ICE was like slave patrols.
Yeah, well, then, right? Then they're more despicable than I even thought. The idea that she, as an African-American woman, would trivialize her own atrocity by comparing something that is incomparable.
It's because she's so separated from history and so ignorant of it that she would do such a thing. The Democrat Party, and they've been doing this forever. I started saying this in the 90s. I said that sooner or later, these cries of racism are going to fall upon deaf ears. It's crying wolf, and honestly, they're out of their magazine of ammunition. Using history, bastardizing history is empty at this point. They've gone. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, if everyone is a racist, then no one's a racist.
Yes.
They've diluted their own thing, right? If you're calling everyone a racist, then there's no racism because it applies to everyone. And it's really insulting when you think about the amount of progress has made in this country in racial equality, and to basically be told that there's no progress.
Yes.
We are no better today than we were before the Civil War.
Yeah.
We are no better today than we were during Jim Crow. Really? Really?
Yeah.
None of the government programs, Civil Rights Act, Voting Rights Act, laws dealing with civil rights, dealing with public accommodation and housing, affirmative action, which only recently has been scaled back.
Yes.
An American president who was elected twice by large white majorities, 2 black secretaries of state. Nothing is different.
Yeah.
If Abraham Lincoln was walking around today, he'd go, it's exactly the same.
Well, because the Democrat Party is doing everything they can to cover the failures of the Democrat Party in the black community. They came up with the Great Society in the 1960s, destroyed the black nuclear family. We've seen a murder rate 10 times the national average in America's inner cities. You have seen the abortion rate, 70%, fatherless homes, 85%. All of these things precipitated by the Democrat Party. And I've said for years that the Democrat Party, they promise, particularly people of color in America's inner cities, the sun, the moon, and the stars before an election. Then the day after the election, they get up and leave money on the dresser. They're not leaving money anymore. And they're losing the black vote because people get it now. They understand what they've done. And they've cheapened everything. And I've said this before. If you think that like the summer of 2020 was 1968 all over again, and you say that America is hopelessly racist and no one can make it because of systematic racism, then you're bastardizing the lives of people like Jesse Owens, Rosa Parks, Louis Armstrong, Oprah Winfrey, Michael Jordan. I could go on. The greatest people of color to ever walk the planet nearly come exclusively from the United States of America. When you talk about African Americans' impact on society.
Well, it's interesting. It's a little like what Arab countries have done with Palestinians.
Yes.
This is a way to create an eyesore. We're not going to help improve the situation for Palestinians. We're not going to accept any Palestinians in our country because we like them being an embarrassment to Israel. We want to use this as a way, and it's very similar here.
Yes.
We use African Americans as victims so we can essentially castigate white people.
Yes.
We could say the reason they are the way they are is because of you.
And by the way, what do they call Jews? What do they call Jews in Gaza? What do they call white people in America? Colonizers. The same modus operandi, brother.
Exactly.
It's the
exactly
same.
Right. It's the same. Racism, colonialism.
Yes.
It's a way of saying this is the way. This is the leverage we have on you.
Yes.
What do we have? We have destroyed inner city black families, lower test scores, lower achievement levels, and the only reason is because you and your racism, not because what you said about Oprah Winfrey. I love that line because I guess racism somehow she overcame all that. You know what she did? She worked.
Yeah.
She worked her ass off.
No, she
Louis
did.
Armstrong worked his ass.
Yes.
They worked.
And they went through. No. Think of that. No. And listen, Jesse Owens, and the only hurdles he faced were not just the hurdles that he jumped over in the 100-yard high hurdles. Think of all the racism. He went to friggin' Germany and showed Adolf Hitler that the master race wasn't so masterful, for God's sake.
Yeah. Again, the problem are the ones like there are a lot of CEOs of major corporations in the United States. You never hear from them. Here are two academics that you don't hear from: Shelby Steele and Thomas Sowell.
Yes.
You've never heard their names.
Yes.
These guys are major academics. They're African American academics.
Yep.
They teach out of Stanford, the Hoover Institute. No one knows who they are.
I do.
Because they write about black independence.
I know.
They're against welfare services. They believe in true equality, and they believe that what we've been doing is essentially undermining the capacity for Americans to achieve.
Well, this is
by creating a dependence on government.
Well, this is
but
what you
won't
got.
Hear about them, just like you're not going to hear about the number of CEOs who are African Americans, because those belie this truth.
Yes.
They undermine this argument that everyone is behind. That African Americans suffer only because. Remember, Rob, the New York Times won the Pulitzer Prize not long ago for something called.
I got to listen. Thane, I got to take a break. I got to take a break and come back. Yeah. Okay, continue this on. Let's take a break. This is the Rob Carson Show.
No one is illegal on stolen land.
Oh, my God. That's Billie Eilish at the Grammys. No one is illegal on stolen land. Her mansion is on stolen land. It belongs to the Tongva tribe, the indigenous people of the greater Los Angeles basin. Oh, my God, it's so fantastic. Apparently, the tribe has said that Eilish has not contacted the tribe directly regarding her property. We do value the instance when public figures provide visibility to a true story of this country. But, yeah, she lives on stolen. It is just, you know who else lives on stolen land, Thane Rosenbaum? The Jews.
Yeah, we hear that one all the time. Except the only problem with that is the Old Testament in the Bible.
Oh, yeah, there's that.
There's only the problem that Judaism is nearly 3,000 years older than Islam.
Yes.
So if you believe in the Old Testament, and I'm sure many of your listeners do.
Yes, we do.
And you know that the Quran is not written until 500 years after, I think it's 500 years after Christ.
Yes.
It's a relatively new religion.
But
so how is this now stolen land?
Because it's the same thing. It's used to attack a group of people, whether it be white people in America or traditional patriotic Americans, the Jewish people. You create an impoverished, independent people who are blame storming. You blame storm constantly the group, saying that all of the faults of their policies, the impoverishing, giving the people the basic existence, and saying that the Jews or the white people, they want to take it away from you, and then having them being angry, and it's the same damn thing. This is why there's the Red Green Alliance. This is why the communists are teaming up with radical Islamists in the United States to take down America.
Yeah, even though left to their own devices, they would despise each other.
Yes.
But they hate white people and Jews worse.
Yes.
So the
Islamists will cast aside the leftists and socialists as soon as they're in power. That's how Islam works.
There is not a safe place for a woman or a homosexual in any Arab Muslim society. Not one safe, except for one country in the Middle East, Israel.
Yeah.
There's only one country that has civil rights for people of color, white people, Arabs. People forget Muslims are on the Supreme Court of Israel.
Yeah.
A Ethiopian woman won Miss Israel.
Yes.
Right? Could you imagine when you say that that Israel is an apartheid state?
Yeah.
Really? Do you think there was a black woman that was Miss South Africa during apartheid? An Ethiopian woman was Miss Israel.
Hey,
here's something that's interesting.
What's that?
Wonder Woman, Gal Gadot.
Oh, yes.
She's a person of color. She's an Iraqi Jew.
Wow.
Take a look at her.
I know.
She's not a white girl.
Hell yeah.
She's a person of color.
She is a wonderful woman, I'll give you that.
But I'm just saying that. But you don't hear that. You don't hear that. You only hear the Jews of Brooklyn or Brentwood or Bloomington. Only these Jews went there to Israel and stole land that never belonged to them. Forget what the Bible says. Forget about the Promised Land. Forget about the Jews. All the towns in the West Bank are in the Old Testament.
I know.
Right? So how is that Arab land? Oh, here's one of my favorites.
What?
You know how many times Jerusalem is mentioned in the Old Testament, Rob?
I'm not sure.
677 times.
Wow.
Do you know how many times Jerusalem is mentioned in the Quran?
0.
Not one. Now, if this is yours, if this belongs to you, why wouldn't you put it in your book?
You would think.
If this is your holy text, if this land is your land, why does it not mentioned once
100%.
in the Quran?
Hey,
but in the Old Testament, it's mentioned 600.
I want to mention this. 5 years from now, I want to. We all got to get some people together and go to Gaza when they got this thing built up into luxurious oceanside condos. It's going to be amazing. Did you watch what they're planning on doing over there?
I'm sure I said this on your show. I've said it on other shows. People don't know that Gaza has great surfing.
Oh, yes.
It's going to be a mecca for a lot of places, including surfing.
A mecca.
But we don't know that because Hamas destroyed the enclave.
I know.
But it's going to look like Macau or Singapore.
It's going to be awesome.
it'll be much prettier and more interesting looking than Tel Aviv.
Yeah, it's going to be.
I don't know if you spend much time overlooking the Mediterranean Sea, but it's beautiful.
I'm going to go, dude.
Those beaches are going.
I'm going to go.
They're going to be. Yeah, I'll go with you.
Now, you know my plan. My plan was to Trump to open a casino based on the Luxor, so it's a pyramid, and hire Palestinians to build it, like this. You know, the Egyptians did enslaving the Jews, but you pay them.
Yeah, I was going to say the only difference is we will pay the Palestinians top dollar. Other than that, it's the same.
Yes, and we will allow them to have straw for their bricks. One other thing here. This is just breaking Newsmax reporting. U.S. military shot down an Iranian drone that approached the USS Abraham Lincoln. I am hoping to hell that the U.S. military gives the Ayatollah a little nudge, and the people of Persia are free. 30 seconds. Tell me your thoughts.
I don't see the point of us getting closer and closer into the Strait of Hormuz unless we have a plan to do something.
Amen.
It strikes me that the president knows what he's doing.
Yep.
He's not telling us because he shouldn't know what he would.
Yep.
But there's no reason to move those kinds of weaponry within range unless there's some plan.
This is going to be a glorious day, brother. We're witnessing history. You and I, all of our adult lives, we have watched Israel, or I should say Iran, perpetrate terror around the world, and the Ayatollah's in charge. We are going to witness history, brother. We're going to witness this together. Thane Rosenbaum, thank you for joining me, man. Where can people find all your work?
ThaneRosenbaum.com. It's all there.
All right, brother. Talk to you soon. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. That's always a fascinating conversation, right? That ended up being really good, Brian. All right, I'm seeing why Kristi Noem is trending here. Froze hundreds of millions of dollars to shady NGOs. I'm talking to the streamers, Brian. I'm just, I'm kind of looking over here to see what I'm going to talk about next. Three Dog Night. One member of Three Dog Night remains. Mama told me not to come. Mama told me not to come. Chuck Negron, the lead vocalist of Three Dog Night, passed away. 83 years old. Great life, man. It's kind of hard to see these guys, passing away, getting old and everything, right? Mickey Hastings, hello, America Marcy. I love music, man. Open up this window, let some air into this room. I love that song from when I was a little boy. Kimmel is an embarrassment. You're right, deplorable dinosaur, an absolute embarrassment. An absolute embarrassment, faux show. My YouTubeage, Timothy McNulty, I think I've seen you in here before. Nice to have you. Mondami already has New York City $12 billion in debt. Yeah, and by the way, he can't raise taxes autonomously. And Kathy Hochul isn't going to let him because they will get their asses handed to him in the midterms. New York. So he's between a rock and a hard place. Rock and a hard place. All right, let me look over here. What's going on?
So why are Republicans so interested?
I'm deciding what I'm going to talk about next here. Pardon me, guys. Pardon me, guys. All right, Valentina, hello. I was glad to hear the response for the Holocaust Museum on Walt's comment. Yeah, I'm going to go. I'm going to head down there. I haven't been there for a while. I'm going to go there very soon here. Let's move on here, see what we're going to talk about.
In here. Got to rev up an engine here.
Come on. This is not an EV. And it never will be. Unless I get into one of those little golf cart communities. That's what I want to do eventually. I want to live in a community where people get around in their, and listen, it doesn't have to be like senior citizens and all of that. There are a lot of places you get around, tool around the neighborhood in a golf cart. I think it'd be kind of cool. I want to get one that looks like a Hummer or something. I want to do something cool with it. That's the only EV I'm ever going to have, so. There you go. And did you see the presser that Donald Trump did? He had a bunch of captains of industry, and including the head of GM. And GM, their sales are going through the ceiling. You've got Stellantis building V8s, glorious V8s again in I believe it's in Michigan. I'm not sure, but it really was cool. And then of course, just the American automobile is back. You may notice that the price of gold took a major dip. It went up $500 one day last week, and it was kind of like, wow. And then all of a sudden, the next day it just dropped like $800, and everybody's kind of freaking out about it. And I went, no, this is a great course correction for those who want to buy gold. And what it was people were taking their profits. People maybe who got in a year ago when it was $2,600, $2,900, and then one day it pops $500. They called the broker and said, sell, sell, sell. So what did that do? It meant a flood of gold and precious metals onto the market, and it means the price goes down. But guess what? It's rebounding. Gold and silver rebounding, pulling global mining stocks and precious metals higher. Spot gold last up 5.5% to $4,900 per ounce. Gold futures in New York gained more than 6%, hovering at around $4,935. This is an opportunity for you to get in. Instead of paying $5,500 an ounce, you're going to pay $4,900 an ounce. Maybe be a good idea to text my name, Rob, to 989898 for Birch Gold. They are A+ rated from the BBB. Thousands of 5-star reviews, including from me. They've got my money. So this is this is better than when it was just kind of idling along and just kind of stalled. A drop and a sell-off is a real opportunity to save some money, get in on the gold train as it begins its meteoric rise again. And those who didn't sell, you're going to sit on it. You saw the drop, you're like, no big deal. I'm not going to sell. I'm not going to panic sell because of that. I'm going to wait for it to come back, and it's going to come back. It's just the way it works. There you go. Gold or silver, silver or gold. Text my name, Rob, to 989898 for Birch Gold. More from Donnie Lemon last night. Also, some crazy inside information on the Fulton County ballots that the FBI raided and what has happened down there. And another nurse fired for saying that he would let ICE agents bleed to death on the gurney. Yeah, no more job for you. Don't go anywhere.
No blind rhetoric.
No talking down to me.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think. Don't tell me how to think.
I trust Newsmax. Newsmax.
They don't tell me how to think. They let me decide.
Real news for real people.
Mm.
Interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
Take a look here. Favorite photo I...
It is the Rob Carson Show. I was going to play you a little soundbite from Harry Hinton, but it's a little low, so you can't really hear it very well. I'll find that real quick. It's basically that Americans want photo ID. If they're going to vote, you need photo ID. There's nothing racist about it. It's just the Democrat Party trying to steal votes. Massive vote fraud scandal that's been going on for years and years and years. Here we go.
With Nicki Minaj, because what are we talking about here?
Here we go.
So take a look here. Favorite voter ID to vote. Look, I got all this polling on the screen going back since 2018. You'll notice on all of it, it's all north of 75%.
What?
76%, 76%, 76%, 81%, and then 83% in the last year of a...
83%. So in 2018, 76% wanted voter ID. Then 2021, 76%. Now it's up to 83%. Democrats are losing on this issue. Try to shut down the budget. Try to prevent, do the government shutdown on this. Please, just give it a try.
Americans agree with Nicki Minaj. They favor photo ID to be able to vote.
Yeah, because they know that the elections, we can't trust them. We cannot trust the elections. And we particularly know this because 2020 was rigged and stolen. I can say that now, you see. It is pretty remarkable how we were told that you cannot say a damn thing about the elections, even though you knew something was going on. Something really, really weird was going on. I was digging through my stuff because I save a lot of audio. And this will give you an idea. Before the 2020 election, they were gearing up for something. They were gearing up for something weird was going to happen. I want you to listen.
Hi, I'm Chris Wray, Director of the FBI. I'm joined by my colleague, Chris Krebs, Director of the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. We want to talk to you today about an issue of great importance to all Americans, the integrity and security of our 2020 election.
Hi, I'm Chris Krebs, Director of the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. Since 2017, we've been working with state and local election officials, the folks that run our elections, just for this moment. We pulled together the election community across all 50 states, the territories, and D.C. to work towards a common purpose of protecting 2020. But you know what? Elections are going to look a little different this year.
Why?
Be patient. On November 3rd, we might not know the outcome of our election.
Well, why not? We've always known it on November the 3rd. Before, why did you give us this warning ahead of time that they weren't going to have all the ballots counted on November the 3rd and maybe they were going to shut down all the voting in the battleground states?
That's okay.
Got some breaking news right now. This is Mark Strassman. He is in Georgia where they're having a big problem counting some of the votes. Mark?
There is now a hitch in the tabulation of votes.
Why that?
A water pipe has broken inside the arena. We don't know how many more they have yet to...
That didn't happen. That didn't happen. They said a water main broke, and then they stopped you from being able to comment about it on social media because the 2020 election was free and fair. You cannot question it. If you do, you're going to be taken off social media. You're going to lose your following like I did my social media on Facebook the day after the election. It's weird. It's weird because this happened on election night.
A water pipe has broken in State Farm Arena. State Farm Arena is where they were counting the absentee ballots of Georgia's most populous county, and now the tabulation has stopped.
Where?
It's Allegheny, which is Pittsburgh, but also Beaver, part of our county to county, Butler and Westmoreland. They've all stopped counting for the night. They've gone
they never did that before.
Bed. They begin the process at
They never did that before.
10 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Good morning, Heather. They did have to press pause overnight. They will be back in a few short hours, expected to resume counting around 8:30 this morning.
Fulton County is now going to stop counting at 10:30 p.m. and will resume their count at tomorrow morning.
That's Fox News. They lost all of their journalistic curiosity after that election when Brett Baer said, nope, everything's perfectly fine. That's why I still have a problem with Brett Baer and Fox News. Thank you very much. Here is Carl Higbee interviewing Tom Fitton of Judicial Watch about why the FBI raided the Fulton warehouse and got 700 boxes of ballots.
Tom Fitton, president of Judicial Watch. Sir, you guys have been on this for years, but anybody who raised an eyebrow about it got indicted, sued, whatever.
Yeah.
Here we are.
tried to put Donald Trump in jail for it, for questioning the obviousness of it all.
That's right. The president almost went to jail for raising the questions that have now been validated.
He was trying to steal the election
by a federal magistrate. You know, the reason this...
it was like committing an armed robbery to cover up an armed robbery.
Search warrant was approved was because a federal magistrate looked at the facts and made the conclusion that there was a reasonable belief a crime had taken place.
Really?
A crime related to the retention of the documents that you've talked about and those commissioners were talking about.
They're trying to get the ballots back from the FBI because they know they're in deep hot water.
But also specifically election crimes. So now we have a federal magistrate confirming that people can have a reasonable belief that crimes took place in Georgia, specifically in...
We can say that now. It's not disinformation and misinformation.
Fulton County. None of those issues, by the way, many of which have been raised by President Trump initially in 2020, were ever adjudicated by any state court judge in Georgia.
They thought we'd just forget about it. We are not forgetting. Here is the great John Solomon from Just the News as to why they raided the warehouse.
Now we got some other big news to get to, and that's about that FBI raid on a Georgia warehouse that occurred last Wednesday. About 700 boxes of ballots were collected there by FBI agents. Our reporting here at Just the News has uncovered that the FBI search warrant approving that raid cited a law that prohibits fraud by election workers. The search warrant for the Fulton County election hub near Atlanta, which is the major city in Georgia, was signed by a federal magistrate, and it specifically cited two sections of Title 52 of the U.S. Code. Specifically, the sections that were cited ban someone who knowingly and willfully deprives, defrauds, or attempts to deprive or defraud the residents of a state of a fair and impartial...
What? That's election fraud.
Conducted.
That doesn't happen in America.
Election process, either through the procurement or submission of voter registration applications that are known by a person to be material or false, fictitious, or fraudulent under the laws of the state in which the election is held. In other words, the focus of this investigation, the focus of that raid, the reason that a federal judge approved that raid was that they're looking at possible crimes related by election workers and the administration of that election in 2020. That's the one that President Trump, for years, has raised concern. We're going to have more.
Yeah. Do you know what it's like to have to hold down the truth, not be able to say anything? I will never forget what they did to us in 2019, 2020, censoring our speech. I will never forget that. It was absolute frustration and disbelief. And then they even tried to usher in a disinformation bureau with a psychotic Karen in charge of it. And they told us that all of the things that we believed were disinformation, disinformatia is what Joseph Stalin called it, because he created a disinformation governance board. What they did to us, oh my God. In a country with the First Amendment, and they got away with it. We couldn't talk about the schools being closed, COVID, nonsense, all of the nonsense associated with COVID. You had to agree with the government. That's it. That's all. Hunter Biden's laptop was absolutely nonsense. It was not real. Russian disinformation was real. Voter fraud did not exist. If you wear a mask, you'll prevent the deadliest virus ever. All a bunch of friggin' crap. And Democrats can't relate to this because their speech was protected. Ours was taken away. And guess what? We want payback for it. Here is Rudy Giuliani. He was financially ruined by people who went after him for suggesting that 2020 was not free and fair. He was talking on Newsmax.
They probably brought more paper into Pennsylvania in the month before the election than we ever had in the United States. I mean, they were sending trucks and trucks and trucks of paper. We were absolutely certain that in Georgia, they had a factory 3 blocks away from the arena in which they were printing up the ballots they needed to fix the election. We could never get the U.S. attorney to do a search warrant. When we uncovered an ATF agent uncovered a possible burning of ballots, Barr assured us that it would be covered in the U.S. attorney's sentinel.
Bill Barr's a scumbag too.
The the ATF agent, is willing to testify to it today.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much evidence in, and come on. I mean, your eyes don't lie, Ben.
Yeah. So you think that there was a factory that they were printing ballots at next?
I don't think it. I had evidence of it. I never was allowed to present.
I'm sorry, he was talking to Benny Johnson, by the way. Benny Johnson. Remember when they were covering up the ballot counting? In Philadelphia, known for voter fraud, and you couldn't have the observers near to see. Remember the ballot cases coming out overnight in Georgia where there's supposed to be a watermelon break, and they just ran them through the counting machines again and again and again and again and again. Of course, the damned election was rigged. Dear God. More from Rudy Giuliani.
I think it's definitively proven that he won Georgia, that he won Wisconsin, and that he won Pennsylvania. I think that Michigan, it is.
Remember that night when we went to bed knowing that he was going to win because he was so far ahead. It was clear, and then all of a sudden they just stopped the counting so they could find the votes. Duh.
Proven that there were massive acts of fraud.
Yeah.
But it's not proven yet. It's not at the number, or not for me. There may be people who have done it. And Arizona, I felt we could get there if they didn't hide all the ballots. And everybody
remember the last midterms when they 65% of the voting machines in Maricopa County just stopped working, and Carrie Lake lost her bid for governor. Remember that? Remember that? You never wondered about that?
He hid the ballots. We have never gotten to see, meaning the Trump people, any of his lawyers, me or any of the others, we've never gotten to see the actual ballots.
Yeah.
The governor, in this case, the Republican governor of Georgia and the Republican Secretary of State have hidden those ballots as if they're phony.
Yeah.
And now the feds have them.
We finally have them. You had to get them by a raid. And I fear, I know that 300,000 or so are burned.
Yeah, there you go. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
Start spreading the news. He lost on Tuesday. Yes, Andrew Cuomo, he went down in New York, New York. Him they didn't choose. Said Andrew, no way. We're gonna let you run this town. New York, New York. They elected a socialist to run the place. He is an anti-Semite and a disgrace. New Andrew would lose. A price he would pay for killing folks in nursing homes in New York, New York. Commie Mom, Donnie won, now Andrew. Cuomo's done, said no to him. New York, New York, New York.
Well, I'm gonna pay a visit. I'm headed to the Everglades. Gonna see a brand new prison for folks arrested in ICE raids. I hear it's already getting all kinds of accolades. Alligator Alcatraz, it's where illegals will be kept. We're cracking down, unlike Biden, who was totally inept. It is something that the liberals in Florida cannot accept. California Alcatraz, I want to open that one too. Just imagine the hard time that real criminals will do. Alligator Alcatraz, I I'm gonna take a tour of you.
.9 FM in Harford County.
We can be digging bump bump. Mike Davis, Article 3 Project.
That's just an
if. First of all, we know the election in 2020 was rigged and stolen because the Democrats violated the elections clause under the U.S. Constitution by unilaterally using COVID as an excuse to change election laws and not having state.
A lot of weird things happened that summer, right? You know, the whole country burned down because of Black Lives Matter. They used George Floyd's death from an OD as a giant spark to convince a bunch of morons that it was 1968 all over again.
Legislatures or Congress.
Why'd they ever hold China culpable for the virus that was released that we paid for? Oh, yeah.
Change the election laws. You can't just do that. That violates the elections clause. And remember what they did with COVID. They used COVID as an excuse to mass mail live ballots out to old voter lists, including college students who have moved 10 times since the last election.
Wow.
These live ballots pile up in mailboxes, in dorms and apartments. And the only way you can stop the voter fraud is through signature verification.
Yeah.
But the Democrats made signature verification meaningless. They turned the machines down to where it would not catch signatures that were wrong because apparently COVID changed our signatures, right? That's the tell that this election was rigged and stolen, is they got rid of signature verification. That's separate from the fact that if you have our voting machines hacked and tampered with by foreign governments.
You can't say that. You might get sued.
That's active war material. Like that's like that is some bad stuff. That's treason. That's active war. I mean, if people actually did this, they need to go to prison for the rest of their life.
Yeah, they do. They really do. You thought we'd forget, didn't you? You thought we'd forget. No, we are not forgetting that. Nopey, no. Not forgetting, nope. Not. Oh, man. You know, I do want to mention, I didn't play a whole lot of this Don Lemon last night appearing on Jimmy Kimmel. He doesn't know when to shut his damn mouth. He's like Ilhan Omar. Ilhan Omar's in all sorts of trouble. She's under investigation. Doesn't know to keep her damn mouth shut. So he goes on, you know, because he's all of a sudden a rock star. He was failing, got fired from CNN, a podcast that was very little listened. Now he's the cause celeb. He was introduced at the Grammys, you know, and I wonder if Don Lemon lives in a house on stolen land from the Native Americans. But here he is last night talking about how he was so surprised when he got arrested.
Walking up to the room, and I pressed the elevator button, and all of a sudden I feel myself being jostled, and people trying to grab me and put me in handcuffs, and I said,
which normally he kind of digs.
What are you doing here? And they said, we came to arrest you. And I said, well, who are you? And then finally they identified themselves, and I said, if you are who you are, then where's the warrant? And they didn't have a warrant, so they had to wait for the...
Oh, yeah, just like the ICE officials in Minneapolis. He's trying to make a comparison there.
Someone from outside, an FBI guy, to come in to show me a warrant on a cell phone.
Yeah.
And by that time...
You knew exactly what you're getting arrested for, please.
I was like trying to, figure out what was going on to get my bearings, and they dropped all my stuff. My glasses had fallen on the floor.
Oh,
I'm like,
God.
I can't read that. So I had to pick my glasses up, and I read it, and still, what does that mean? So... And then they.
Well, you see, you were part of an invasion of a church. It's a terrible thing that you did. You see, you took part in an invasion of a church that terrified congregants. It's illegal.
There was a bunch of guys, and they took me outside. FBI guys were out.
Which normally he would totally dig.
There. I mean, it had to be maybe a dozen people. Yeah. Which is
about as many who went to Roger Stone's house to arrest him.
Jimmy, of resources, because I had told them weeks before.
And when they grabbed Peter Navarro at the airport, they're that too. Yeah.
Maybe once or twice. That we would, I think my attorney tried to contact them once, maybe twice. That I could just go in, and it would have to be the folks who were just working there that day, and they wouldn't have to have all these people following me around.
It's more than just a waste of resources.
I believe Peter Navarro also told the FBI, hey, I live right down the street from your headquarters. Just come down and get me. And they chose to arrest him at Reagan National, so there is that. Yeah. Pam Bondi is buying none of this. They've arrested 9 people altogether. I think they arrested 2 more yesterday.
Don Lemon and 8 others have now been charged in a single indictment because you cannot attack, and that's what it was. It was an attack style on a house of worship. You can't do it. It was a Sunday morning. There were parishioners. There were families. There were grandparents. There were people with canes. There were children upstairs in the nursery. They bombarded in, and as Don Lemon put it in his own words, they were on their way to a resistance at that church.
Yeah, you don't believe me? Listen to him talking to the Black Lives Matter organizer before. Again, if this were an armed robbery and you knew that they were going into the bank to rob the bank because invading a church like this is a crime, would you warn the bank employees? Or would you participate in the event? Lemon chose to participate in an illegal event.
Tell us why you're doing this.
This is Operation Pull Up, more of a clandestine operation. We show up somewhere that is a key location. They don't expect us to come there, and then we disrupt business as usual. So that's what we're about to go do right now. Demanding justice for Renee Good and letting them know that this will not stand. They cannot pretend to be a house of God.
George Floyd's a white woman now.
While harboring someone who is directing ICE agents.
All right, there you go. Here's Todd Blanche. Dana Bash on CNN tried to take him down on this and didn't work so well.
Was this really about what you just described, or was it about trying to make an example out of somebody who the president has sparred with?
I don't even know that the president's even ever thought of Don Lemon. I don't know whether that's true or not. But I will tell you, we're not making examples of people. The day after that happened, the Attorney General flew to Minneapolis. She was there for 3 days. What we saw, there is no scenario under which the American people are comfortable or think that that was right. I'm sorry. So no, it's not about making an example. It's about justice.
I want to move on. But the White House, on the official Twitter handle, celebrated his arrest with the
after he was arrested.
Social media and a chain emoji.
Yeah,
and
I did too.
So it's pretty clear that they're very well aware in the White House of this. I want to ask about Georgia.
Oh, I didn't say they weren't aware.
She's going to try to drop the mic and move on.
Wait. Hold on one second.
And they were
celebrating
it. That was afterwards.
Here's the deal. Don Lemon, it was unprecedented for a journalist to storm a church like that and terrorize the congregants and then use journalism as some sort of a shield against it. There's a real good chance, I hope, that he goes to jail with the rest of them. Clearly, they've gotten the message, and if they haven't, jail time definitely will send a message to the rest of the country. Coming up, Ben Weingarten, senior contributor of The Federalist and editor at Real Clear Investigations. International disputes.
Hello, my name is Brian Delatry, and I started taking Relief Factor just about a year ago. I was having chronic knee pain. Over time, it just got worse and worse. Just walking downstairs was painful. Well, since I've taken Relief Factor, the results have been just amazing. I actually walk 4 miles a day, 5 to 6 days a week. No pain at all going downstairs. Very active playing golf, and it's been really just unbelievable in the change I've had in the pain in my knee. Hope that someone who's experienced the same type of pain gives Relief Factor a try. And I guarantee if you get the results that I have, you'll be very happy. I'm going to continue using the product because I am now pain-free.
Don't wait. If you're dealing with daily pain, launch your 3-week quick start and see what Relief Factor can do for you. Go to relieffactor.com. How will it feel to be out of pain?
Blank here. We've got the Audi. They're driving very evasively. They just pulled through into a parking lot, did a loop through the parking lot, and then got back on Central going north. We're trying to get back on them, but we might lose them here.
Gotcha. I am going to relay this.
That is a dispatch for people who come into Minneapolis. there is a group of individuals, not only government officials, but also private citizens who have the capacity to run license plate numbers. They are stopping people entering neighborhoods in Minneapolis. I used to live in South Minneapolis, in some of these neighborhoods, real close here. And now they are blocking intersections. They are stopping cars, asking for identification. It is insane. Here to talk about this and all sorts of other stuff, Ben Weingarten, senior contributor to The Federalist, also editor-at-large at Real Clear Investigations. Ben, welcome to the Rob Carson Show. How are you today?
Rob, I'm well. Thanks so much for having me.
I'm telling you, bro, this is unprecedented in Minneapolis, and I think it goes all the way to the top, all the way up to the lieutenant governor, and I don't think this is going anywhere. People individuals stopping vehicles, tracing vehicles. It's almost dystopian. It's almost like I don't even know. It's like Escape from New York. What are your thoughts on what's happening in Minneapolis, and what do you suppose is going to happen now that the feds are involved?
Well, let's just say at the outset, isn't it so interesting that we've had this minsurrection at the very time when the open borders plus welfare state, largely Somali-led fraud scheme was being exposed? And, of course, it was the political leaders, some of whom have a nexus to that, and others of whom, of course, have turned Minnesota into a sanctuary state. It was precisely because of their policies that ICE had to be surged into that state in the first place. But really briefly, the way that I would term what's going on is they've created an anti-police state where they are engaging in surveilling, tailing, doxing agents, and then not just quote-unquote protesting, but resisting in their own parlance, which really means obstructing, interfering, impeding with federal law enforcement. This is a new nullification crisis when you have state and local officials who are in on it, but beyond that, these so-called the private actors here who are basically engaging in insurgency level acts here on a professional basis and using these technologies. This looks like a massive criminal conspiracy to obstruct and impede and interfere with federal law enforcement.
Of course.
And to harbor illegal aliens in place.
Oh,
and
this
there
is
are
also
any number of federal crimes being committed there.
Doesn't
let's see if law enforcement goes about breaking up what looks like this criminal conspiracy.
But doesn't this kind of make Minnesota a Confederate state to some degree?
This is a new neo-Confederacy.
Oh, my God.
Because what you're saying is, we're going to take the law into our own hands. We're going to obstruct and flout federal law enforcement. If we disagree with what the federal government policy is, we're just going to override it, and we're not going to cooperate with it. That is really what the sanctuary jurisdiction policies are about.
Yeah.
And this obviously puts it on steroids, because it's not just a sanctuary jurisdiction. It's a jurisdiction that is actively at war, essentially, with federal law enforcement authorities.
Now, did you see James O'Keefe go to Minneapolis, and he drove into his neighborhood, and he was surrounded like the zombies coming out of nowhere, coming around, surrounding his car, violently attacking the car, following him to the hotel. He gets to the hotel. There's an observer in the hotel. So he has to leave the hotel, go to another hotel. One of his handlers gets a message, get out of Minneapolis in 1 hour or we're going to kill you. What the hell, Ben?
It's absolutely insane, and you look at their training materials, and their training materials suggest that you follow those exact tactics. Certain cars, obviously on the lookout for certain license plates, and then all of these tactics for them are fair game, and they're very clear. They make clear in their materials, what goes up to the line of being legal, and then what isn't, and they, of course, do not say you should not engage in illegal actions. Very clear what's going on. It's intimidation to the nth degree. We've seen videos, obviously haven't seen a lot of reporting on it yet, but videos talking about how you have citizens setting up these stop checkpoints, essentially, within Minneapolis to see, is this a Fed or is this not a Fed who's driving by? And this just goes to my point about they are setting up an anti-police state. It's an anti-police state within a state, vigilantes taking the law into their own hands on behalf of illegal aliens in the first place, and that's a critical thing to remember here. This is in defense of the open borders, the invasion, but beyond that, it's that they disagree with having any law enforcement whatsoever. They say that ICE is a fascistic, authoritarian force. So it's about ending the mass deportation policy. It's about a left-wing revolutionary policy.
Yes.
And it's all to the benefit of our adversaries and then, of course, the illegal aliens themselves.
And this is just beginning. I mean, did you see the big operation where they regarding Medicaid fraud? All of these they jacked up the federal budget 40% using COVID, and then looted the Treasury for Democrat states. But I believe this house of cards is really beginning to collapse. Ben, what do you think?
Well, you're right. They wouldn't be reacting this way if the house of cards wasn't collapsing. We've had massive, essentially legalized money laundering and vote buying schemes with the illegal defrauding baked into those schemes. And the American people are asking, where did our tax dollars go?
Yes.
And why did our tax dollars not go to actually benefit these programs that federal authorities tell us are so essential, but actually to scam the taxpayer, to loot the Treasury, to effectively create kickbacks for the politicians who get campaign contributions from the people engaged in the fraud.
Yeah.
And that is why you are seeing this total and utter revolutionary kind of behavior on the ground, because they're finally getting some form of scrutiny. And the last related point I'll briefly make is that one of the reasons this is existential for the left is because if you do have mass deportation of millions or tens of millions of illegal aliens, those blue districts and blue states are going to go away, and they are going to be reallocated to red districts, red states, precisely because we carve up our House seats and draw our districts based upon population numbers that include illegal aliens. And that is the essential thing here. Those illegal aliens go away, so too will those House seats.
100%.
This is existential for Democrats.
Of course it is.
Because it might mean that they, for a long period of time, lose a majority in the House and can't win presidential elections as well if the map shifts.
And they haven't changed anything, their trajectory, because of 2024, because they haven't had to win elections in a very long time. They've been able to steal them. By the way, I want to mention this, and I haven't had a chance to dig into Paul Sperry's piece, Obama's fingerprints all over investigation of Trump and Clinton. This is another story that is really starting to pop. We got about 30 seconds here. What are your thoughts on this as we wrap things up?
Paul's reporting has been dogged and excellent on this, my colleague at Real Clear Investigations.
Yes.
And it shouldn't be called Russiagate, it should be called Obamagate. And it's the same network of individuals who did everything they possibly could to destroy Trump because they wanted to oppose the American people, and then did everything possible to cover it up. It's a massive, massive conspiracy. Let's see if this Justice Department actually unravels it and takes it down.
It is a great time to be a real journalist like you, Ben Weingartner. Appreciate you so much. Tell everybody where they can find your glorious work.
Follow me at BH Weingarten on X, and all my work is at my Substack, weingarten.substack.com.
All right, thanks, man. Thanks for your time. I know you're busy. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
Going to end up
Gentlemen, thank you. All right, a last look now at the House floor. So far, that test vote to fund the government continues. 2 Republican nay votes now. We know one of them was Representative Thomas Massey of Kentucky. The magic number, and I want to correct anything I said earlier, the magic number is 217. Right now, the yeas are at 212. We're getting close. But again, 2 Republicans.
Yeah, Thomas Massey is nuts. Have you noticed? Just look at his face. Look at how he's changed the last couple of years. Something is going on with him. He's unhinged. This isn't going to work. This is not going to work. The Democrat Party, their next thing now to shut down the government. They want to C-block Donald Trump's economy. And they're saying you got to defund DHS and ICE, which of course they need if they're going to keep illegals here to vote and also prop up their census numbers because their policies are failing in all the Democrat states. So that's the next thing, and it's going to fail. They're on the ropes right now, guys. This cabal of corruption is on the ropes. It's on the ropes. They're dying like movie vampires. They are dying like movie vampires, kicking and screaming, trying to drag us into hell with them. And it's not going to work. It's not going to work so much. This is a couple of things here I'll mention. This is somebody who's running for office. Hold on, let me see if I can find her here. Susan Karatassos, now deleted video. She's a Democrat candidate in Georgia. And she says if the Democrats get back into power, that she's going to take away our ability to express ourselves for voting for Donald Trump.
When this is all over and Trump is gone and Democrats are back in charge and we're rebuilding everything, the punishment for MAGA for voting Trump 3 times needs to be that they lose their internet access for 4 years.
Do you know how freaking nuts that sounds? Because of who you voted for, they're going to punish you by taking away your First Amendment right to free speech.
That they cannot post videos or comments.
So you already did that in 2020, you ass.
On social media for 4 straight years so that none of us are subjected to their lies and misinformation while we are rebuilding the chaos that they caused. I
know the massive amount of manufacturing coming back, the sealed border, the increase in our salaries, the lowering of inflation, lowering of rent, lowering of prescription drug prices.
The world and America gets to be without their BS online for 4 straight years.
Yeah. Susanna keratosis, which sounds like a skin disease, right? Doesn't it though? She deleted that because what she just did there was insane, and she shouldn't be in office. Speaking of which, there's this male nurse. He's an ICU nurse. He's fabulous, by the way. Chad Malinowski, Chicago area nurse. Chad suggested that ICE agents, he would allow them to bleed out and called on nurses to target them. And he also says hospitals should fire all MAGA employees because they're racist. He worked at Midwest Express Clinic and Carl Hospital, according to his LinkedIn. Here he is saying those things before he just lost his job.
I've seen it. As the type of ICU nurse I was cardiac ICU nurse.
Yes.
And I did a lot of time, lots of hours, holding on a groin that wouldn't nurses have in this country.
Don't think it's the first time he held on to a groin.
ICU nurse. And
Did you know most ICE agents don't wear their plates properly?
Holding on a groin that wouldn't stop bleeding.
Sorry.
I tell you what, that femoral artery, those veins in the legs, I can't remember what it's called. It's late in my shift, okay? I know it. I'm tired. Anyway, the vasculature in the leg, it really bleeds. Bleeds well.
It bleeds.
Someone could bleed out very quickly from that. Probably like a couple of minutes, really. I would really suggest to all the healthcare organizations out there that if you have knowingly MAGA employees, that you terminate them. Not safe people to take care of other people. Have people who have open racism in the healthcare system. I mean, we already know that exists.
He's been fired, by the way. Because you've got to be a special kind of insane to harbor those thoughts and super insane to share them online. Both of them. And I'm just going to go ahead and call them both cat ladies, even though he's technically a guy, I guess. TBS, baby. That's what it's all about. It's costing people their jobs.
Well, they have a lot of cats, and they're all Democrats. We call them Karens.
Jim and Gossett.
They have a whiny voice. They are all pro-choice and mostly barren. They're cat ladies.
Rare.
Whoa, 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 they're cat ladies. Talking about some miserable ladies.
Woo.
Who have clearly lost their minds.
Yeah, you gotta be nuts. Nuts.
These Karens don't like ice. They often pay a price, mistakes they're making.
Bye-bye. You're fired. Hasta.
Karenism is their curse. Could go to jail or worse for their law breaking. They're cat ladies. Don't have a child, they're cat ladies. Talking about some miserable ladies who are out of their mind.
Yeah, they are, this is a mania that is taking advantage of social contagion. Started with the Salem witchcraft trials. Manson family followers, they're all women. All fell for it. Luigi Mangione lovers, sitting in court worshiping him. It's that same sort of bullcrap mania. Women in New York City actively promoting and rooting for, terrorists in the Middle East. It's all the same bat guano crazy nonsense. It's not uncommon. And one day we're going to look back at this and we're going to go, holy hell, what the hell? Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. All right, streamers. Sorry, I've been a little busy. I haven't had a chance to watch you much. Ooh, here we go. Wow, 106 new comments on Facebook. Holy hell. Kathy, Dale, hello. Sam, Ken Potter, good to see ya. Glad to have you. Jellyfish Hunter says, Maduro is singing like a songbird. We'll see. Will be nice. Isn't it kind of weird that the voting machines that were in charge of the 2020 election were from companies in a communist party, or in a communist country, Venezuela? Venezuela isn't known for its technological prowess, in case you didn't notice. Yeah. And I've heard from more than one person that getting him out of the country was about that, among other things. And there was a reward out for his arrest. Joe Biden increased that award from, I think, $10 million to $20 million. So and the Democrats wanted him arrested, too, until Donald Trump became the president and actually arrested him. So there's that. Yeah. Hello, guys over there watching on YouTubeage, including Duckman558. What's going on? Hope you guys are doing well. Susan Geller, good to see you as well. Hope you're enjoying the show. Today's been a good show. I got the technical glitches fixed. It was a B word. It was a B word. It was not fun. It was very difficult moving everything and doing it all myself. But we got a new studio, and you're going to notice a really different look to all of my broadcasts with this beautiful new facility that I have built myself. Looks like we got a little glitching problem. I don't know what the deal is, but anyway, we'll get it figured out. Time for me to talk.
Yeah, about 3.5.
Donald Trump was asked yesterday about dropping the investigation into Jerome Powell, the Fed chair, and he would have none of it. There's good reason.
Questions, please. Mr. President, speaking of the Fed, would you like to see Jeanine Pirro drop the investigation into Chairman Powell to help? Senator Tillis has basically said that he's not going to really be working with the administration.
He's not a senator very soon.
Help bring work. So would you like to see the investigation?
Yeah, Tillis is going to be gone.
No, she's going to take it to the end and see. Like you're doing a small renovation, and they've spent almost $4 billion doing a small renovation.
Yeah.
I'm doing.
Yeah, there's a lot of fraud going on there. It was supposed to be like $1 billion renovation. They spent $4 billion. I mean, utterly ridiculous. You could build a couple NFL stadiums for that amount of money for one friggin' building in Washington, D.C.
Buildings. I built a hotel, the Waldorf it's called, and I did it for around $200 million.
Yeah.
It's a much bigger job. They're spending on.
He's also building a ballroom. Where'd that go? That was the next thing for a while there. They're all butthurt about it. Haven't said anything about it lately, have they?
It could be $4 billion. I'll tell you what, I don't even see an end in sight. I feel badly for the new Fed chairman because he may not have an office for 4 years.
Yeah.
I don't know what these people are doing. So it's either gross incompetence or it's theft of some kind, or kickbacks. I don't know what it is, but Jeanine Pirro is incredible, and she'll figure it out. But no, you want to take it and just find out what happened, because we can't go around doing a renovation of a small little complex, very small, couple of little buildings.
Yeah, you know what? Honestly, it's so bloody disgusting. I'm so tired of it. You know, listen, maybe one of the reasons why it took me so long to be discovered by Mr. Chris Ruddy at Newsmax was because there was a plan. And we, like I've told you this, we've arrived at this moment together after much struggle, after much suffering, whether it be censorship, whether that be the Biden economy that caused so many of us had extra jobs, had to work extra jobs, all of this. And now we're discovering this great enlightenment is happening. The left exposes its flanks so we can kick its butt. And that's what we're witnessing right now. It is very, very, very big. And I was watching the guy who's executive producer for Charlie Kirk. He's now taken over the show. And he said, just stay the course. Stay the course, because all of this is being uncovered. The Democrat Party is not going to be able to steal an election midterms. It's not going to happen. They're in the middle of a death spiral. Everything's being exposed. Their corruption, the reason why they've been brought on all the illegals. The American people want voter ID now. 83% of us want voter ID. They want people deported. They want 67% of us want illegals deported. They're seeing their house of cards disintegrate. So stay the course. Stay positive and patriotic, involved, share the word, vote, be active. Obviously, I'll handle the mockery, ridicule, and satire, and let Donald Trump handle the ass-kicking. How's that sound? I think it sounds like a good plan, don't you? Have a glorious day, guys. God bless you. America has founded Donald Trump as he's bringing America back from the brink. And until tomorrow, which is Wednesday, don't catch the stupid. I'll see you then.
All right, Robbie, have a good night.
All right, Brian, talk to you. Bye.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.